Well, let's get our Cannes culture fix now, and I'm joined from the Croisette by Genie Godula. Gina, hello. Thank you for being with us. Day 2 of the competition, and today there are 2 Cannes favourites in the running.
That's right. The first one in competition today came from French director Bruno Dumont, who has been in competition 3 times as well. The 2 previous times he won twice the Grand Prix, which is like the #2 prize here in Cannes. Now, this new film is called Slack Bay. It's a black comedy about turn-of-the-century France, northern France, and rich tourists who suddenly start mysteriously disappearing. Now, Nadia, quirky is not a strong enough word for this film. It's sort of in the same vein as Delicatessen from Jean-Pierre Jeunet. It's got an almost Monty Python feel to it. There are people who have silly walks. You have people flying in midair. Not to mention cross-dressing teenagers. There's a bit of cannibalism. Really, it is over the top. Now, starring in this film is French superstar and Oscar winner Juliette Binoche, who also worked with Bruno Dumont in Camille Claudel a few years ago. In this film, she plays a very high-strung, over-the-top aristocrat, and she talked a bit more about working with Dumont a second time at the press conference. Let's listen.
Before the shoot, Bruno was a bit concerned about where this comedy was headed, because we went really deep into tragedy with Camille Claudel. But once I arrived on set, there was a mutual trust. He did push me at times to bring out the tension and the unease and the irrationality that exists in this family, through what was not said, but also through its complicated history.
Now, the second film in competition today, Jeannie, is the polar opposite of Slack Bay. It's called I, Daniel Blake, and that's by British director Ken Loach.
That's right, and this year he broke his own record, screening his 13th film in competition here in Cannes. Now, Loach won the top prize, the Palme d'Or, here exactly a decade ago with The Wind That Shakes the Barley about the Irish Civil War. He won the jury prize 3 times before that, so really a long history here in Cannes as well. Now, Ken Loach turns 80 this year, and just before his last film that was screened in competition 2 years ago, he notoriously said that he was retiring. Well, it was a very short retirement because he is back in competition this year with I, Daniel Blake. Now, this has him go back to his roots in social drama. It tells the story of an older carpenter and a young single mum in the UK who are dealing with the absurdities of the benefit system under Britain's Conservative government. Here's a quick look at a clip.
My kids have got to start school tomorrow. I've got about 12 quid in my purse. All because you can't just calm down and listen to people when they talk.
Right,
you all have to do this.
Do you know what? I've listened to you. You've created a scene.
I've created this. No, mate, I've created it. If I was going to
building.
create a scene, you'd know about it.
You need to leave the building.
I'm sorry, look.
Okay, you need to. This is ridiculous.
Jesus Christ!
What am I supposed to do?
Who's first in this queue?
I am.
Do you mind if this young lass signs on first?
No, you carry on.
There you go. Now you can go back to your desk and let her sign on and do the job that the taxpayer pays you for. This is a bloody disgrace.
Now, director Ken Loach has long championed the little guy in his films, and while this film, I, Daniel Blake, does have very serious themes, there are also a lot of funny bits. Ken Loach was at the press conference just about an hour and a half ago, and he talked about finding the humor in even the darkest themes.
Conscious cruelty in the way we're organising our lives now, where the most vulnerable people are told that their poverty is their own fault. If you have no work, it's your fault. But the people's response is very human. There can be a comedy to it. There can be a kind of deep frustration. It draws out all the human emotions, but the heart of it is a shocking, shocking policy.
So that's director Ken Loach there, talking about his film in competition, I, Daniel Blake. But Jeannie, Cannes isn't just about the competition, is it?
It's true, Nadia. It can be very confusing for some. There's in competition, out of competition, Cannes Classic selection, public screenings. The list goes on and on. There are 80 films in all that are being screened here, not to mention the general movie madness that goes around and the marketplace as well. So our Catherine Nicholson is here with me on the Croisette, and she decided to put together for you a handy guide on just how to understand Cannes.
Well, I've got my movie watching essentials and I'm all ready for the world's most glamorous film festival. Where better to host it than a palace Okay, not a real one, but this is the Palais des Festivals, and it's where the official Cannes competition takes place. This year, 21 films are competing for the top prize Palme d'Or. That's more than 44 hours of movie watching. This is where we come for all of the photo calls, the press conferences, and, of course, the screenings.
No popcorn.
Sadly for me, food and drink is banned inside there. So too are TV cameras. Down in the basement of the Palais, the film market. More than 11,000 professionals pass through here to sell a film, an idea, or just themselves. Just outside, dozens of countries and regions' film boards set up shop to promote their filmmaking opportunities.
Bonjour, le cinéma québécois est à Cannes.
Merhaba, benim adım Ahmet, burası Türk pavilyonu.
Hola, este es el pabellón de cine argentino.
Hello, grüezi, ici Swiss Films from Switzerland.
The promotional frenzy continues out here on the beach and in the rest of the town. Dozens of bars and pop-up venues hosting personal appearances and concerts this year from the likes of Kendall Jenner, Jason Derulo and Wyclef Jean. Sometimes, at the end of it all, there's even time for a little rest and relaxation. Bon festival.
Well, last night here in Cannes was a screening of one of my favorite films ever, Nadia, Howard's End, that Merchant Ivory classic. I got a chance to meet with director James Ivory and star and acting legend Vanessa Redgrave, and they will be the focus of our next Cannes Rendezvous that's coming up at 9:15 p.m. French time.
Genie Godula, thank you very much for that Cannes update.